hey you, hey there. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm wearing a full face of my favorite drugstore products from this year, from 2024. And in this video, I'm gonna be walking you through as I apply all of these products to my face and talk about all of my favorites. So this is the video that you might wanna save for later. You might wanna bookmark it or whatever. I feel like this is a really good cheat sheet. I'm very, very excited of this particular roundup from the drugstore because some of these products, let me tell you, they perform even better than some of their higher end counterparts. So without further ado, let's get into this video. Remember to subscribe if you aren't already, notification bell, and let's hit it. Best makeup from the drugstore 2024. Here we come. So I'm gonna begin in the order in which I typically do my makeup, starting with the brows. Right now there is nothing in my brows. They are bare. They're not glued down. This is just my natural shape, no fill-in, nothing. My favorite drugstore brow product of the year is definitely by far the ARDELL brow glue. This one is incredible. It comes out looking kind of blue at first, so my initial reaction to it was that it reminded me of lash glue to glue on falsies, but the blue tint actually does go away, so that's a good thing. Now this is a much stronger product than the NYX brow glue. I would say it's comparable in strength to a lash glue, honestly. And what you have to do, or what I like to do in order to glue down my very unruly brows, is brush it through very thoroughly, top to bottom, left and right, backwards and frontwards, in every which possible direction of my brow hair growth. I work with one brow at a time because this does dry down quickly. And in fact, this actually does come with a brush, but I don't really like the brush that it comes with. The brush is a little bit cheapy and not strong enough. Instead, I like to use this metallic type of brush. And this not only helps to brush the product through the hair one last time, but it also helps if you don't drop the product. But it also helps to basically create that shape. So if you want a really sharp edge at the top, kind of a fluffy, natural look at the bottom, which is what I go for lately, this type of metal spoolie really, really helps. This is from Urban Decay. I don't believe they make this anymore, but Tweezerman has a similar one. All right, so that's basically the shape. The brow is glued down quickly, and I believe this is only like $8 or $9, so a no-brainer. And sometimes when you come across a super strong brow glue product like this, you think that it's gonna rip out your brows or it's gonna be really hard to get it out at the end of the day, but nope. This is totally water soluble. You can easily remove it with makeup remover and it will not remove your brow hairs. I hardly ever do my brows on camera because I feel like it takes such concentration for me in order to make sure that these top edges are equal and pointing in the right direction. Sometimes I tend to make the mistake of making one eyebrow higher than the other. Always try to just pay attention. Also with this product, because it's so gluey, you might want to keep micellar water handy with a little Q-tip. I like these Q-tip precision tips. Just, you know, get rid of any excess glue around the brow. And I don't actually have a favorite fill-in product for the brows from the drugstore. Outside of the NYX brow pencil that I've been using for years, it's their micro brow pencil. And it's very similar to all the other ones that you've seen, not from the drugstore. Very similar to ABH, very similar to the Benefit. And so it's great for just elongating, extending, filling in some sparse areas and whatnot. I use shade black. And then I also like to take a flat brush like this one from Sigma and just smudge that pencil upwards. This is a lot gentler on the already glued down brow than a spoolie, so I always prefer this brush method for the brows. So notice how I do the shape first with my brow glue, then I fill in whatever is necessary to fill in, and then I just gently kind of like mush the product into the already set shape. And this way, to me, it looks the most natural. All right, going down the list, let's talk about primer. I don't really have a favorite primer from the drugstore this year. Last year, I was obsessed with the Essence Tinted Primer. It was my favorite, but it's been discontinued, so I've been very, very sad. I'm not really a huge fan of the NYX face glue, even though I'm still keeping it around and it's still chilling here. It's okay, but it's not the best. So for me, I guess this will also belong in the primer category, even though this is more of a luminizer, and I guess more in the serum category. I'm talking about the CATRICE Skin Glaze, this little milky substance here. This is really nice to give you that little bit of an additional glow. It has this really beautiful pearlescence, and it's just nice. Thankfully, my favorite foundation from the drugstore doesn't actually require a primer because the primer is somewhat built in. If you've watched my best foundations of 2024 video, you already know what I'm talking about. And honestly, it doesn't even need this glaze. But for the sake of extra hydration and a little bit of luminosity, and since my hair is pulled nicely back. I just might as well. I mean, this isn't like Natasha Denona glowy, but it gives you a little something something. It has that little bit of a pinky, golden, purpley sort of shift on the skin. It's pretty. It's pretty in the daylight. But when it comes to like pore refining or mattifying primers, just get yourself some Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Blurring Balm Powder, especially if you're an oily skin type like me. I'm not going to use that today. Instead, I'm just going to go right into my foundation. So my favorite foundation, I'm already showing it, from the drugstore this year is the CoverGirl Simply Ageless Skin Perfector Essence. This one, shade medium, is what I use. It's got the micro droplet technology. It's got the 0.5 bakuchi oil, which is a natural plant-derived form of retinol, so it really plumps the skin and makes you look a little bit more youthful. Youthful is the word that I'm searching for, but you know, we shouldn't be afraid of age. Age is beautiful. So I don't know. Maybe we need to think of a different way to describe that plumped, lifted skin feeling without using the word youthful. You know what I mean? So yes, I am going to apply this one to the face, but I will say I also did enjoy the CATRICE Nude Drops Tinted Serums, also with hyaluronic acid, vitamin E, nice ingredients, very similar to the L'Oreal True Match Nude. I would say these are comparable, except the L'Oreal has a little bit more shimmer, so it has a luminous finish as opposed to these, which have a more natural matte kind of finish. So these I really liked. I forgot about them throughout the year, and I guess I didn't include them in the best foundations of 2024 because I really, really love this one, and to me they just, not pale in comparison, but this one's just a clear winner. All right, so what I'm gonna do is pump some to my fingertips. And then what you have to do is kind of squish those little micro droplets, warm them up in between your fingers before actually applying it to the face. But once you do apply it to the face, do you see how gorgeous that coverage is? The undertone is also quite perfect, you know? That shade medium is really, really nice. You can really work it into your pores to make you look flawless as if you're not wearing makeup. Look at that. There's something about that finish that is so luxe, that does not scream drugstore. And yes, drugstore products are definitely a lot better nowadays. But listen, I grew up on some really bad drugstore products. So when I say drugstore, I'm talking about my youth. When I was a kid, I could only afford drugstore products, and they were so shitty. There was absolutely no undertones. There was absolutely no shade ranges, and everything just looked so cakey and so unskin-like. But you know what? Back then, because I had pretty bad skin, I used to break out pretty regularly back then, I kind of had to wear makeup, you know? And I remember up until I discovered like Bare Minerals, I was known as cake face because my foundation never matched. It was always very, very visible on my face. I don't love the fact that you have to warm up the product in between your fingers. That is my one criticism about this skin essence, but I'll take it because the finish and just like the way that it sets, the way that it lays on the skin is so right. It's so perfect. It's such a beautifying product, you know? I will say I never tried it with the CATRICE Skin Glaze, and there is some pillin' happening here. Oh no, girl. Now I know I will wear those two separately. So usually when pilling happens, I just take a really small brush, kind of just whisk those pills off my face. Thankfully, it's only on my forehead, not really anywhere else, so that's good. I guess it's because I did apply that CATRICE Skin Glaze all over my forehead and then just to the perimeter of my face. But anyway, this is the skin. Let's talk concealer. So I do have two favorite concealers from the drugstore that I have been reaching for all year. For some reason, these two have been frequently seen in my videos. I couldn't have possibly forgotten about them because I really like them so much. I'm talking about the RIMMEL Multitasker Concealer. This one is excellent, a very close dupe to Tarte Shape Tape, which is by far my favorite concealer on the market. And the second one being L'Oreal True Match, but this is the new reformulated version with a nice iron-like, what do you call that, applicator? The shade that I wear in RIMMEL is shade Ivory, which is more like medium, and shade N5 or W6 in the True Match. So the N5 I guess I like for brightening, the W6 I like for covering up my imperfections, so we're gonna use all of these. Just a little bit of strategic placement here, not too crazy. Notice I'm going with a shade that actually matches, and then I'm gonna use my RIMMEL for the under eye. I use this one all the time, whether I'm doing a full face of drugstore makeup or regular makeup, this is just great for the under eye. You need the tiniest amount, and it just works, you know? I'm gonna use a big brush like this for the under eye. With the Rimmel concealer, you do need to go quickly because it sets rather quickly, and so you need to buff it and blend it quite quickly if you want the under eye to stay natural looking. Otherwise, it'll set a little bit too solid, which works for pimples, but it doesn't necessarily work for the under eye because it's such a movable area. And so yeah, it does need to be set fast. I'm just gonna use the same brush for everything else. Okay, I do think that W6 is actually my summer color. I should have probably used N5. That's okay. All right, here we go. Practically flawless. So yes, if you're looking for great concealers from the drugstore that are trustworthy, trust no further than the Rimmel and the L'Oreal. Consistently super good. Before I move on to powder and blush, I actually want to talk about my favorite contour / bronzing product. It is actually from the drugstore, and I'm talking about this MILANI Cheek Kiss Cream Bronzer. So this came out mid-year, I would say, and it is so solid good. I actually kept all the shades just because the undertones are so right. The one that I use is shade Hey Honey, this one here. I will say this is a very close dupe to the NARS Laguna bronzer, the one that comes in like a nice little jar. Very similar consistency, very similar finish. I would even say that the undertone and the color is also very similar. So I am going to use this, even though I don't really like to bronze up and contour. When I find a product that is good, you know what? I will bronze up and I will contour. So I'm just going to use this smaller brush. I've been liking doing that little detail on the nose lately. You know what? Shade Spilling Tea is also very nice, but it's a little bit more bronzy than Hey Honey. Hey Honey has like that perfect balance between bronze and contour. And then I'm going to take the small brush and kind of just blend and buff that in. Really nice, inexpensive. Could probably find it anywhere. In Target, at the drugstore, at the supermarket. The good thing about drugstore products is that they are very widely available. You see how it just does not disrupt or move my foundation underneath? It just looks so damn seamless. Cute. Okay, next. I am just gonna use any old powder. Not any old. I'm gonna use this LYS, not from the drugstore, but it is on the more affordable side. The reason why I'm using this is because I have not found a powder from the drugstore that I like as much as I liked the Essence powder foundation from a couple years ago. And again, with that one, I believe they discontinued it as well. I don't know why brands do this. Whenever there's products that we all seem to love, they get discontinued. Maybe they're too niche. Maybe they're too forward thinking, is what I'm thinking. Maybe people don't know how to use them. And when I say people, I mean like the general masses, but like those of us who are into makeup, which means that it leaves most of us who are into makeup super disappointed. I'm just gonna use this LYS to set my under eye. By the way, this Pixie brush, which is a glow brush actually meant for a highlighter, this is incredible. Oh my god, this is perfect for the under eye, but also kind of big enough for the rest of the face. Super soft. Okay, Pixie. Speaking of Pixie, I always wonder, do you guys consider Pixie a drugstore or a non-drugstore product? I always wonder. I know they're in the masstige category, which is like somewhere in between, because price-wise that is where they are, but I never really know where to place them when talking about products. Like, I'm not gonna include them with expensive brands like Armani or Patrick Ta or Charlotte Tilbury or whatnot, but I also find that their price point is a little bit higher than that of like NYX, you know? So yeah, definitely let me know your thoughts. This is my first time using this brush though, and I am highly impressed. It is just so good. I messed up. I wanted to show you a cream blush before I actually set my face. But this is the mistake that I always make whenever I don't look at my notes. And this product will surely disrupt my powder, so I'm not even gonna attempt to apply it over. I am talking about the L'Oreal Lumi Liquid Blush. This is a really nice blush, and they've got some beautiful shades. Some of them are luminous, some of them are matte. I actually prefer the ones that are matte without the sparkles. So my two favorite shades are Dewy Rich Coral and Dewy Worth It. These two very wearable shades here. Again, I would show you, but I clearly just set my entire face with powder. Therefore, I cannot. Fear not though, I do have a favorite blush from the drugstore for 2024 that is super inexpensive, and to me, it rivals, you guys, it rivals the very famous NYX blushes. I am talking about none other than these Wet n Wild blushes. They are so good, so easy to use. Such stunning shades, very wearable, nothing too shimmery or too luminous. They are the Color Icon blushes. Shade Bed of Roses is probably my most worn shade, but I also really love Naked Brown, this one. So you know what? I'm thinking since I have such a nice bronze tour going on, I'm gonna use Naked Brown and Bed of Roses. Naturally. I'm gonna use this very lovely Pixie brush. These are new, by the way, and I love that they are so huge. I'm gonna use that Naked Brown on the back of my cheekbone. I kind of like to do this little face. It helps me to hug my cheek. And then I'm gonna take a tiny bit of Bed of Roses and I'm gonna apply that to the apple. That is pretty. That is very pretty. Did I lie? I actually think I reach for those more often than I reach for my NARS ones. The shades are just so pretty and they're so wearable. There's absolutely no glitter, no sparkle. And I like that for a blush. I am a traditional matte finish powder blush type of gal. And these just fit the description. If you're looking for that, look no further. These are it. I'm gonna do one more thing. I'm gonna tone down the highlight underneath my cheek. I just use this Rare Beauty powder, which I like, but to be honest, I forgot about it. It's still here since the day that I filmed. So clearly you can tell I have not been reaching for it, even though I did like it. Moving on to the fun category, which is the eyeshadow palette category. Year after year, I give this category to one single brand, just because, in my opinion, for the price, they manufacture some of the best, inexpensive, large format eyeshadow palettes. I am talking about none other than ColourPop and their larger palettes right here. So last year, I believe my favorite palette from the drugstore, or at a drugstore price, was the Stone Cold Fox palette. I still have it. This is a wonderful palette. This year, they came out with the Precious Metals. I actually refer to it as a mixed metals palette. This one right here. It is stunning. It has everything you need, from silver to gold to bronze to rose gold, taupe, and everything in between. It's got both metallic and matte shades. This to me is the perfect everyday or night type of palette. You can create dramatic looks with it. You can create everyday looks with it, whatever you desire. I'm gonna pick up this shade called Too Much and just apply that all over my lid. What I like about ColourPop eyeshadows, specifically from the larger palettes, is that they are so reliable. They have really good pigmentation, but they're also very easy to work with, very easy to blend, easy to use with your fingers or with brushes. So I used this shade first because it is kind of close to my skin tone, and I really wanted to neutralize some of the darkness and some of the little veins on my eyelids, and I think it did just that. And then if I just want to pick up any shade, like say let's just sandy champagne shade, Get Your Coin is the name. If I just want to pop out the center of my lid and bring more light and more life, so easy to do that with just those two eyeshadows. And the combinations are endless, regardless of your eye color, your skin color, your undertone. This has everything. I'm gonna add a little bit to my brow bone. Honestly, I don't even think I need anything else. That was it. That was great. And this is a great palette. And by the way, these earrings that I'm wearing were actually sent by ColourPop in the PR package with this Precious Metals collection. And they are some of my favorite ones. I get so many compliments on them and I couldn't tell you where they're from. I believe it was from a Brooklyn-based designer, but I love them. People always ask me, what is my favorite liquid liner? And then I kind of rack my brain because I have several favorite liquid liners. Most are higher end liquid liners, such as Makeup Forever, the dippy ones that I prefer. But then, if I think about it, MILANI always comes to mind because they have both the dippy liner that I prefer and they have the felt tip liners that everybody else prefers because they're just so easy to use. To me, the dippy liner is a little bit easier for me because I like to apply liner over eyeshadow, and these felt tip markers, they get contaminated way too easily and way too quickly if you glide them over eyeshadow. But because MILANI is so inexpensive, I kind of don't feel bad recommending it. So my favorite from the drugstore is the MILANI Stay Put Tank Eyeliner, and I believe this one came out this year. They also have it in white, which I love. And honestly, even with this drugstore price, I still feel bad gliding this felt tip liner over my sparkly eyeshadow. I'm just gonna do like a baby cat eye today. Nothing too crazy. Just like that. Cute little cat eye lift. Nothing more, nothing less. Now you could do the white in the inner corner. These are actually very similar to the Makeup Forever artist liners in terms of how long they last and just like the consistency of the fluid. Very, very similar. And if you're looking for a pencil liner, I cannot not recommend this Kind and Free Clean Eye Definer from Rimmel. This shade here, shade Pecan, it's a beautiful, beautiful black brown. And it's so smudgy and it's so perfect. Great for the waterline or for the outer portion of the eye. It's great for mapping out your eyeshadow looks. I really like this formula, but specifically I really like the shade. It's just the perfect cooler brown that is so flattering. All right, let's move on to mascaras. This is that one category where I always say, do not buy expensive mascaras. There are tons, there are plenty inexpensive, excellent mascaras at the drugstore. And this year, I think I have 3, not just 1. So let's go down the list. Number 1 is obviously the Essence Lash Princess line. There is the Brown Lash Princess that came out this year, and also the Call Me Queen, I guess they've elevated from princess to queen, Dramatic False Lash Effect Mascara. Both of these are excellent, whether you like brown, whether you like a dramatic effect. Essence mascaras are some of the best. They are super, super inexpensive. They last a long time. I'm a big fan. Also this year, I really enjoyed the CoverGirl Eye Enhancer mascara in the shade Berry Brown. This is a very unique, almost like a plummy maroonish shade of brown, but still in the brown category. So it's not exactly maroon, but something in between. So a very unique color, very different, something that you don't often see represented at the drugstore. Really love this one. Plus it's a clean formula, so it won't make your eyes tear up. And last but not least was this combo from Hard Candy. Hard Candy, I believe you can get at Walmart. It is very, very inexpensive. And in this case, I'm talking about the Get a Grip Lash Primer and also Make It Double Mascara. This combo is insane. It makes my lashes look fake, okay? And I've used this in a couple of my videos. Everyone commented on it, so definitely check out this combo. Today, I kind of want to go for the CoverGirl Eye Enhancer because I do have a little bit of drama happening with the cat eyes, so I want to add a little bit of softness, and I do want to show you how pretty and unique this shade is. I'll show you a close-up because you might not be able to tell from further away. What is that? Rat's nest. I gotta say, I love a creamy mascara, something that's not too liquidy, that applies quickly. This one's gorgeous, and it kind of toned down that stark black liner. I think this is one of those colors that they recommend for green eyes, but I don't care. I like it for my browns. Do you see that contrast? That's what I'm talking about. Time for lips. My favorite, or shall I say, the best lip liner at a drugstore price is also from ColourPop. This trio right here is my favorite. It is the ColourPop BFF Lip Liner Trio. It has 3 lip liners, and I just recently discovered this. This comes in shade BFF, BFF 2, and also Chain Reaction, which is basically a nude, a slightly darker nude, and then a brown. I'm already wearing a little bit of the nude on my lips, but I'm gonna add more. Don't you worry. Super, super creamy glide. Really, really easy. Beautiful color payoff. Great price. Perfect. So this is shade BFF. Shade BFF 2 is a little bit more tan. And now for the lip glosses, I will say that there were 2 products from the drugstore that I really loved and reached for a lot this year. Number 1 being the So Juicy from ColourPop. And I'm talking about the Plumping Gloss Balm, not the So Juicy Lip Oil. I didn't like the So Juicy Lip Oil because it was a little bit too goopy, but I did like this one shade. It's a date, so I kept that one. But these So Juicy Gloss Bombs were my fave. And yes, I know a lot of brands actually came out with this type of product, from Tarte to Flower Beauty to everyone really. But I gotta say, these were probably my favorites. I guess because of the shade range. There's some beautiful berry tones, some pinks, and lots of nudes that I love. So I'm gonna go for a nude. Vacay Mode was my most used one. And just look how glossy and delicious this is, without being goopy or disgusting. This honestly is a perfect product. It gives you a super glossy pout without the strings. It is definitely the perfect blend of balm and gloss. I'm a fan. I will say I did enjoy the NYX Duck Plump plumping lip gloss. Specifically, I like the shade Mocha Me Crazy, which was another nude. I'm not gonna apply it over, but I did want to tell you about it. I feel like this product didn't get enough recognition. I remember when it first came out and everybody was talking about duck plump. It sounds like another kind of plump. We're not gonna go into that, but it definitely had a very memorable name, and then it completely disappeared and people stopped talking about it and they stopped using it. But to me, this was actually a really good product, and so one of the best, in my opinion, from 2024. Especially if you're looking for a plumping lip gloss that actually does work a little. All right, and one final product that I want to mention is my favorite highlighter from the drugstore. I'm gonna go back to ColourPop because I really loved this Light Sticks super easy highlighter. This definitely reminds me of all of those stick highlighters from LYS. And let me show you how pigmented this is. Hello. This is very bright and beautiful. You have to be careful when applying it over powder, which is why I applied it to my finger first. But just look at that beautiful, lovely gloss that it adds. Add a little bit more right here. A little bit on my nose tip, a little bit on the jawline, forehead. I can't forget about the other side of the face. I almost did. And there you have it. And that is my full face of 2024 drugstore favorites. Close-up time. Skin finish. It's pretty good, huh? Looking at myself in the mirror right now, there's no way I can tell that I'm wearing a full face of non-high-end makeup. Everything from my brows to my skin texture to the color choices, everything looks and feels very expensive, honestly. I think I did a damn good job putting together all of these favorite drugstore products, and I am so excited to be sharing them with you guys today in this video. So definitely bookmark this one, take a screenshot of all the links below, save these products, save these recommendations. I definitely think these are some of the best of 2024, and considering how things have been going the last few years, chances are some of these amazing products will no longer last. I hope I'm wrong, but just in case, stock up. So that is my video. Those are my best of 2024 makeup products from the drugstore. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching and for tuning in. To let me know your favorites down below. Also tell me which video I should do next. For now, peace out. I'm out. More videos. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.